students, today our class is about Gauss applications of Gauss theorem. So already we learned about the Gauss theorem. What is Gauss theorem? So, it links the electric flux and also the charge enclosed. So that is the total flux must be is equals to what? 1 by epsilon naught times of Q enclosed. Okay. But here we are taking the total flux for the continuous bodies or for irregular or regular bodies. We have to take the integral, the closed integral, because we are taking the closed surface. Okay. So integration for all. Okay. For all surfaces, that is for all surfaces which is on the closed one must be product of the electric intensity and also the area vector. Okay. So but here we have to take the small area, so that is ds. Okay. So why? Because here already we taken the complete integral, so that's why we have to take small area. Okay. The integration of small areas gives the complete area. Okay. Now this is the Gauss theorem. Okay. So here we are having so many applications. So Coulomb's law only for the point charges, we are using the Coulomb's law for only point charges, and also for the dipoles also to find the electric field. We are using Coulomb's law and the Gauss law. Coulomb's law for the point charges and the dipoles. Gauss law is for point charges and also it is for continuous distributions. It is the point charges and continuous distributions and continuous distribution of charge, but it is not suitable for dipoles. Okay. Coulomb's law also for point charges and also it is for distributions, but it is so complicated in the case of Coulomb's law. So that's why to overcome the difficulty by the Coulomb's law, here we are using the Gauss law by taking integration for the small areas. Okay. So now here, so to here we by using this Gauss theorem, what are the applications? If we know the charge enclosed by the surface, and we can find the electric field. Okay. So to find electric field. Okay. So here we are using the Gauss law. Okay. Now before this, first about the point charge we already learned, we know, but here continuous distribution of charge is there. Okay. So now what is continuous distribution of charge? Okay. So for the continuous charge distribution, here the continuous charge distribution, so that is three types mainly. Continuous charge distributions. Okay, mainly three types. First one is linear charge distribution, that is linear charge density, and areal charge density. Next, volumetric charge density. Okay. So what is linear charge density? Okay. So see here, this is a coordinate system. In this coordinate system, let us consider here is a point. Okay. So here is a charge. Okay. So for this charge, here we are taking some distance. Let us take r0 or anything. Okay. If here we are instead of the point charge, if we are having one line charge, this is the one conductor. On the conductor the charge is distributed like this. Okay. So here the charge is distributed like this, means if this is the conductor, here is the charges, then we have to find the electric field here. So the electric field due to this charge and electric field due to this charge and electric field due to this charge may be varies. Why? Because see here to here the distance is different, 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 here to here the distance is different. So here for the continuous charge distributions, here we have to consider one symmetrical one, okay, then only the electric field due to every charge on that surface should be same, okay. Now here linear charge density means here we have here uh, we are not considering total charge, okay. So here in the Coulomb's law we consider that is the total charge, okay. So that is E is equals to what, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square, okay. So this is the total charge there, okay. But here we are not using the total charge, here we are using the word, so that is the charge per unit length, charge per unit length for the conductor, for some conductor of length L, okay. So here if you are having the conductor, okay, this is the one conductor which is having some length L, the charge is distributed like this, then we have to take the charge as charge per unit length, okay. So that is charge per unit length, we have to take the term, we have to use the term here as charge per unit length, okay. So unit length, unit means 1, okay. So charge per unit length we have to taken as a lambda, okay. So that means for 1 unit for 1 unit here we are having the charge that is lambda, okay. So that means 1 meter, for 1 meter we are having the charge lambda, okay. Now here I have L length of conductor, okay. So that is the length of the conductor is L. Now how much charge, okay. So for 1 meter the charge is lambda, then for L length of the conductor how much charge means what, Q is equals to what, cross multiplication, that is lambda L, okay, lambda L by 1, so that is lambda L, okay, lambda L. So that's why linear charge density, so for the L length of the conductor here we have to take the charge enclosed must be is equals to lambda L. Lambda is the linear charge density, lambda is considered to be a linear charge density, okay. Now see here for the aerial charge density, let us consider here we are having some surface like this, it is having some area A, okay. Let us consider here, okay, we are placed one area like this, okay. So this is having some area, so here the charge is distributed like this, okay. So now I want to find the electric field somewhere, but first we have to know charge enclosed, okay. So for the charge enclosed here also for charge per unit area, charge per unit area is considered to be a sigma, it is aerial charge density, okay. Now here for the 1 unit means 1, for 1 unit area the charge density is sigma, okay. Now for okay, so now for area which is having some surface which is having some area, then how much charge is enclosed, so that charge must be is equals to what, cross multiplication sigma A. So that's why here charge enclosed must be taken as sigma A, okay. Now for the volumetric charge density, okay. So let us take here one cuboid, okay. So here we are having some cuboid like this, okay. So for this cube here we have, this is a 3 dimensional, here we have to take the volume, okay. So for this volume, so the charge per unit volume, okay. So here also we have to take charge enclosed must be is equals to volumetric density, that is the rho and V, okay, charge per unit volume, okay. So that is charge per unit volume is what, rho, okay. So that means 1 unit volume the charge is rho, then the total volume of the sphere or anything, for the total volumetric body, here how much charge is enclosed, then charge enclosed must be is equals to what, rho into V. So first, before we enter into the applications, first we have to know charge enclosed. Okay, so for the charge enclosed, if you are having the point charge, there is no problem. Okay, if we are having some surfaces which are on which the charge is distributed, if you are having some continuous charge distribution on those surfaces, then if that is a conductor which is having some length, then we have to use linear charge density lambda. Okay, and if we are using the surface like anything, okay, so for aerial surfaces we have to use aerial, okay, aerial charge density. Next, if you are using the sphere or the cuboid like that which are having some volume, so for those bodies, we have to use the volumetric charge density, that is rho. This is about the charge distributions. Okay, now we are having so many applications by the Gauss theorem. First, I am using point charge. Okay, so by the Coulomb's law also we can find the electric field. So already we know that from the Coulomb's law we have some the electric field due to point charge is what, electric field due to point charge is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. Okay, so now we can find the electric field due to that point charge, that is by the Gauss theorem. Now by Gauss theorem, here we are having Gauss theorem. By using Gauss theorem, okay, now we are finding the electric field due to point charge using the Gauss theorem. Okay, so for using the Gauss law, here we have to follow some steps. We are having 4 steps. So in the 4 steps, the first step is, before using the Gauss theorem, the first step is we have to draw one Gaussian surface. Okay, so we have to consider a Gaussian surface. How to consider one Gaussian surface? Okay, so here we have to consider Gaussian surface. Now first we have to know what is Gaussian surface. Okay, so Gaussian surface is it is a imaginary surface. Okay, imaginary surface, just we are assuming the surface. Okay, so by assuming this surface, just we have to okay, here we are assuming the one surface because we want some electric field at every point. Okay, electric field at every point should be symmetrical. Electric field at every point should be symmetrical. Okay, so that means it will be same. Okay, and theta also at every point should be symmetrical. Okay, so and now it is a this Gaussian surface is a must be closed surface. It must be a closed surface from all sides. Okay, and next one is, if you are considering one Gaussian surface, that is not enough to find the electric field, then we can also assume another Gaussian surface which is also a symmetrical. Okay, so here we can use maybe combination of more than one surface can be used as Gaussian surface. Okay, now so in the first step, first we have to consider one Gaussian surface which is a imaginary surface. To find the electric field, just we are assuming one surface is there, so that is a closed surface which is closing the charge. Okay, so that is a closed surface, and on that surface at every point the electric field should be same, and the theta between the electric field and area vector also must be same. Okay, so that's why let now start. First, in the first step, here we are considering one charge, one point charge. Okay, now I want to find the electric field due to point charge. Okay, so for the here electric field due to point charge. I want electric field due to point charge, that is by using Gauss law. Okay, now here I am taking the one point charge Q. Okay, so now around the charge I am assuming, so this charge giving some electric field lines like this. Okay, so these are the electric field lines which are due to this charge. Now around the charge here I am considering the one Gaussian surface. Okay, so the Gaussian surface is imaginary and it is a closed surface. Closed surface means here we can use a sphere, or we can use cylinder, or we can use cuboid like that. Okay, so now here we want, first condition is E and theta must be same. Okay, so for E and theta same, now here my convenient Gaussian surface is I am taking for the point charge sphere. Okay, so here my Gaussian surface is sphere. Why? Because this is my Gaussian surface. Here I am assuming, so that's why I am giving the dotted lines. This is our Gaussian surface which is a sphere. Okay, so now I want to satisfy all these conditions. It is a imaginary surface. Okay, now it is a closed surface. Okay, so at any side it is not open, so it is a closed surface. Okay, now at every point the electric field should be same. Okay, so here to here the distances are, here to here the distances are, here to here the distances are, here to here the distances are. According to Coulomb's law, the electric field always inversely proportional to square of the distance. Okay, so if R is same, okay, then if R is same, then electric field also same at every point. Okay, same. If here R is just consider 2 meters, then here also 2 meters, here also 2 meters, here also 2 meters. So charge is always same, because the charge is already enclosed. That here we are assuming only one charge, not the charge distribution. Here only we are taking the one charge. Okay, so charge is constant, there is no change in the charge. So if R is equals to constant, then electric field also constant, because electric field is mainly depends on the distance R. Okay, so now here the first condition, the electric field at every point is same. Next condition is theta is same. Theta, where here according to Gauss law we are having the closed integral E bar dot ds bar is equals to what? Q by epsilon naught. Avuna? So here the electric field E dot ds means what? E ds cos theta. Okay, so this theta is in between area vector and also the electric field vector. Okay, so now see here, so this is the electric field vector. Okay, so here I am taking the small area. Okay, so delta S area, delta S small area, but if it is tends to 0, we have to take the ds. Okay, now as it is a very small and very small area which is tends to 0, then here the area vector always normal to the surface. If it is a small area, then normal vector is like this. Okay, so this is the ds vector, so there is no angle between those two ones, so theta is equals to 0. Here also this is the electric field vector, so here we are taking the small area, so this is the area vector dA, and here also theta is equals to 0. So here this is the electric field vector, and here we are assuming the small area, and this is the area vector, so this is the ds, so here also theta is equals to 0. So everywhere we are taking the theta means what? The angle between the E and area vector must be same. Okay, so now this condition is satisfied, this condition is satisfied, this condition is satisfied. Okay, so here the one surface is enough. Okay, so here one Gaussian surface is enough for the point charge. Okay, now here the first step is over. Okay, now second step is what? We have to calculate left hand side, that is E bar dot ds. Okay, so that is we have to calculate the closed integral over E bar dot ds bar. Okay, so now according to Coulomb's law, so the closed surface E bar dot ds bar is equals to what we can write, at every point here the angle between those two is 0, so cos 0 is 1, so it can be written as, here electric field at every point is constant, so we can take an E as a constant and outside, and here we have to take the integral only for the ds. Okay, so now the integration over the closed surface, that is for the small area. Okay, so the integration over the small area gives the complete area. Okay, now area of the sphere is what? Area of sphere. Okay, so area of sphere is what? 4 pi r square. Okay, so just write here 4 pi r square. So E into the complete area of the sphere is what? 4 pi r square. Okay, so the integration over E bar dot ds bar is equals to E into 4 pi r square. Okay, so here there is no change in the direction because E and ds both are in the same direction. Okay, so that's why here theta is equals to 0. Okay, now step 3 is we have to calculate charge inside. Okay, so calculate the enclosed charge. Okay, enclosed charge. Okay, so we want Q enclosed. Okay, so for Q enclosed, here we have taken that the charge, here is the charge, and so here is a charge, the charge is only one charge, so total the charge which is enclosed by this closed surface is how much? Q. Okay, so the enclosed charge by the Gaussian surface is what? Q. Okay, so charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface is Q. Okay, now step 4. Fourth step is here okay, fourth step is apply Gauss theorem. Okay, so now that is by substituting the values, here the total flux is equals to integration over the closed surface E bar dot ds bar is equals to what? Q enclosed by epsilon naught. Okay, now see here, by putting the values the left hand side, already the integration over E bar dot ds bar is equals to what? E into 4 pi r square. Okay, and here we have to take Q enclosed, no? So Q enclosed is what? Q. Okay, now just substitute the total flux through the total flux is equals to what? E bar dot ds is equals to E into 4 pi r square is equals to Q enclosed is Q by epsilon naught. So here E is equals to what? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by r square. Okay, so that is electric field due to point charge by Gauss theorem is what? E is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square. So this is also by the Coulomb's law also we are getting the same value, that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square. Okay, so here Gauss law also used for the continuous charge distributions. We are having the charge distribution on the sheet, and also we have some charge distribution on the conductor also, and also we are having some charge distributions in the sphere and the shell. Okay, shell means inside charge is 0. Okay, and sphere means there exists some inside charge. Okay, we are having so many applications by the Gauss theorem, but in our textbook we are having only the charge distributed on the length conductor and the charge distributed on the sheet. Okay, so the charge distributed in shell also, it will be in the deleted topic. So we have to discuss only sheet and the conductor.